We did it! 100 episodes of Teach, Task, Box, Inspire! And to celebrate, I'm giving away 5 amazing prizes between September 29th and October 6th. One winner is going to get a full year of Teach, Task, Box, Inspire membership. 60 boxes and you're done. 2 winners are going to get a $100 gift card to my Chalkboard Superhero store. 1 winner is going to take home the Independent Work Systems Starter Kit. And 1 more wins the Functional Life Skills Bundle. Entering is easy. Just fill out the quick form linked in the show notes. Want a bonus entry? Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and share your thoughts. This is my way of saying thank you for listening, supporting, and growing with me through 100 episodes. Entries close October 6th. Good luck, and let's celebrate together. Hey, special educators. Welcome to Teach, Task, Box, Inspire, the podcast dedicated to making your job as a special education teacher easier by making your instruction more fun for you and your students. Inside each episode, you'll learn how to get the most use out of your task boxes in the classroom. I'm your host, Lisa Holliday from Chalkboard Superhero, a veteran special education teacher passionate about empowering you with purposeful teaching strategies, helpful tips and tricks, and other classroom management tools that will help you thrive in your role. Let's get started with today's episode. Welcome to the 100th episode of Teach, Task, Box, Inspire. I honestly can't believe I'm saying that. 100 episodes. When I sat down to record my very first episode almost 2 years ago now, I had no idea where this journey would take me. I just knew I wanted to share what I was learning in my own classroom in the hopes that I might help another teacher feel a little less alone. So today, instead of rattling off a list of the, top 10 episodes, I want to do something more meaningful. I want to share the biggest lessons these episodes have taught us, me, you, the listeners. Along the way, I'll tell you some behind-the-scenes stories with the episodes you loved the most. So kind of think of it like a highlight reel, but with the why behind it all. All right, if you've been here from the beginning, you know my very first episodes were all about task boxes and classroom setup. And let me tell you, those episodes exploded in downloads. Why? Because classroom setup is survival. Lesson 1, a strong classroom starts with structure. Take episode 31, which I named The Floor Plan. That episode became my most downloaded ever. And it's funny because it came straight out of my own mistakes. I remember my very first autism classroom. I thought decorating bulletin boards was the most important thing. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. My students couldn't navigate the room, transitions were a freaking nightmare, and I was drowning. That failure turned into the strategies I shared in episode 31, and apparently it hit home for a lot of you. The same goes with the episode before that, episode 30, getting organized, and episode 32, all the schedules. The big takeaway: you can have the cutest decor in the world, but if your schedules and spaces don't work, the whole classroom crumbles. So I really go step by step on how to set up an autism classroom. All right, another huge theme across these 100 episodes is independence. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we're all working toward? And if you've been following me for any amount of time, I have a son with special needs, Jacob. I talk about him all of the time. He's 10 years old and he has Down syndrome. All I do all day long is work on his independence. Independence doesn't happen by accident. It is built step by step. So think about episode 38 called Choosing the Right Independent Work System. That episode resonated because so many of us know the struggle. Students waiting for us, relying on prompts, needing us for every single step. I shared the systems I had tested and used, and teachers messaged me saying things like, "My students are finally working on their own for 15 minutes. That's the kind of transformation that keeps me going. And of course, task boxes, my OG content, right? Episodes 1, 3, 4 are still some of the most popular episodes. Why? Because task boxes are the bridge between dependence and independence. They're concrete, they're hands-on, they're structured. And here's the lesson I learned. Sometimes the simplest tools are the most powerful. All right, now we can't talk about special education without talking about behavior. Some of my top performing episodes were about meltdowns, work refusals, and of course, transitions. Behavior is communication, not defiance. Episode 51, I named Tackling Work Refusal. This one came from a season where I had a student who would literally put his head down and refuse everything. And I had to dig deep and figure out the why. And once I did, I realized it wasn't about compliance. It was about giving him choice, control, and that important part, reinforcement. That became a huge shift in my teaching, and I think a lot of you felt that too. Episode 53, I called Managing the Meltdowns. Oh, the stories I could tell. I remember recording this one right after a week of multiple meltdowns in my classroom. And I wanted to give you real strategies, but also reassurance because every teacher I know has felt like a meltdown is like a personal failure. And it's not. It's a moment. One we can prepare for and kind of navigate through. And then I had episode 47 called Managing Transitions. Honestly, I still get DMs about this one. Transitions are sneaky. They don't seem like a big deal, but when you add up the minutes lost, especially when you're trying to transition so many times throughout the day, the behaviors are triggered, the stress, it matters. So here's the lesson. When we focus on the small things like routines, cues, and visual supports, we prevent the big blow-ups. All right, now, one of the most surprising episodes to rise to the top, I thought, was episode 36, which is called Training Your Staff. I'll be real, when I recorded that one, I wasn't sure anyone was going to listen to that, but wow, did you guys show up? Because here's the truth. You can't do this work alone. Behind every successful special ed teacher is a team. And when that team isn't trained or supported, everything falls apart. I shared stories about my own early years where I avoided hard conversations with paraprofessionals, and I paid the price. But when I finally got brave enough to train and model and set clear expectations, the whole classroom shifted. That lesson has carried me through every single year. And based on the response, I know many of you have lived the exact same thing. Another theme from the top episodes is you guys just love practical do-it-today strategies. So episode 73 is called Quick Classroom Procedures, which proved that sometimes it's the little routines like how to pass out pencils that keep us sane. Also, I had episode 40 called Essential Tools for an Effective Classroom, which was another hit because we all love knowing the must-haves versus the fluff. So here's the lesson. Teaching doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes the simplest systems create the biggest calm. So looking forward, after 100 episodes, what's the big takeaway? For me, it's this. Special education is freaking hard, but it's never hopeless. Every episode, every download, every DM has reminded me that there are thousands of teachers out there fighting the good fight, building independence, managing behaviors, training staff, showing up for kids. We're all doing this together. But I'm not stopping here. I hope the next 100 episodes will keep digging deeper. We'll talk executive functioning, parent-led centers, parent communications. We'll talk sensory needs. Everything's changing with AI and artificial intelligence and stuff like that. And I plan on bringing you guys all the new stuff that comes around, right? Oh, yeah, and lots more about task box strategies because I have a million task boxes that I love to give to my kids. And I want to keep giving you tools that you can actually use tomorrow or next week or really all year long. Before I close out, I just want to say thank you. Truly, this podcast wouldn't exist without you listening, without you hearing something and you immediately share it with a friend or a teacher friend or somebody that really needed to hear it, or sharing it on social media so other people can hear it too, and really applying these strategies in your classroom and then coming into my DMs telling me all about it. I love every single second of that. So here's to the 100 episodes of teaching, inspiring, and building independence. And here is to the next 100. Keep going, keep showing up, and don't forget, the power of a task box can change everything. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Teach, Task Box, Inspire. I hope you've gained some tips and motivation to fuel your week ahead. If you're ready to explore more strategies for empowering your students as independent learners, be sure to dive into my free training at chalkboardsuperhero.com/training. And don't keep all this knowledge to yourself. Share this episode with your special education teacher friends who could use some motivation and inspiration. One more thing before you go. If you're finding this podcast helpful and want to show support, head to Apple Podcasts and leave your rating and review. Until next time, keep teaching, task boxing, and inspiring.